understand this. When I was growing up, I was taught at school about the greatest leader this country was ever blessed to have, Winston Churchill. God rest his soul. That generation was lucky to have a leader like Winston Churchill. But today we are also blessed. This generation is also blessed to have a man that stands tall, that stands proud, and stands for the British people. And his name's not Winston Churchill, his name is Tommy Robinson. And make no mistake, never be in doubt, doesn't matter what anyone says, you can go home tonight, put your head in the pillow, and rest assured that you have been here today
Why did
for
it
the
lock?
right reasons.
It just locked the damn orientation back.
And our job is now to awaken our friends, our families, our neighbours. I want to finish by
Sake.
Peter Lynch, who would have been here today.
I can't do anything about the orientation, it won't let me.
Horrendous sentence that this beautiful man, his soul, his grandfather did not deserve. But I want you to join me now in a minute support not only for our Tommy, but for our Peter Lynch. God rest his soul, God bless him. Peter and your family, we are here for you.
Packed like sardines. As said, though, I can't change the landscape of this since it's locking the phone when I try it.
Thank you, Paul. You're an absolute gentleman. I'm sure everybody here will agree. And it's now us that we've got Mark. Because as I said before, we're here for a good time today. So when Tommy's sitting in his cell, he knows none of this went to waste. Now let me introduce the next speaker. Andrew Vision, all yours, brother.
Remember.
The 5th of November.
I see no reason why
Gunpowder and treason should ever be forgot.
Fuck them, we're going, I need a piss. Fuck off. Let's push our way out, they can fuck off. I need to take a minute. Jesus Christ. They don't do this to everyone else, why do they do this to us?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so proud of you all. I'm proud to be here.
Just keep it calm.
That's how I got Take him on, mate. Swear to God. No, don't take him.
No, calm down. Let's keep it civil.
Demonstration of tyranny. We're living under happened. We know Tommy's not a terrorist, and we know that Peter was never a riot. They can take 1,000 of us, and 10,000 will stand up to take their place.
Yes.
More like 50,000 will take their place.
You will all take comfort that the worst things appear to get, the nearer they are to the end. We're in a dark tunnel, but we're nearer to the light than we are to the beginning. We must push forward together. The worldwide attack on freedom and liberty.
Care less. What are you doing here then?
Cannot succeed because too many people around the world have woken up. We see what you do, and we will not let it happen. In life, we tend to get what we're willing to tolerate. Well, the world.
I mean, it is what it is. We can't give them too much.
No longer. I've often asked why I'm there. Sorry, mate. I look out. Well, 2 years ago, I spoke at a conference in Norway. And in Norway, they call them binders. They bind people together. And they told me they invented the paperclip before the Second World War.
Okay.
And during the German and Nazi occupation of Norway, the Norwegians wore the paperclip as a sign of resistance to occupation. It was punishable by summary execution by firing squad, but still the brave Norwegians resisted. They said they had no one in Norway to speak in their parliament, nor would I wear the binder when I spoke in our parliament and speak to them as well.
So many people getting
The paperclip is a sign of opposing international oppression, and I'm proud to wear it for you and for the Norwegians. All the freedom-loving people in the world are watching us today. They're expecting us to take the lead. As has already been said, we must be peaceful. There's a rival protest, and they've got a right to protest as well. What it demonstrates to me is the failings of our schools and our universities, because it's clear to me that our schools and our universities are not teaching our young people to think. They're telling them what to think, and that is very damaging.
That is indeed, amen. This is about standing up to tyranny.
Our oppressors use against us is fear. And once we learn to live without fear, there's nothing they can do to them. There's nothing they can do to stop what they're saying. There's nothing now they can do to people. They have to live without fear.
Jesus.
People think that we have no power, we're just individuals. We're just drops in the ocean. But we're not. We're all mates. We're all connected. We are all the ocean in a drop. Enjoy the day and have a great time. Thank you for listening to me.
Hey!
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, when we look at the mainstream media, they do their damnedest to divide us,
I need a piss, so...
put us in a state of submission by fear. They don't tell the truth. They try their best to divide us and take a little look around. Do we feel divided today?
No drinks, no masks, basically.
Now, talking of media, new media, real honest media, that tells you exactly what's going on without prejudice, the opposite side to the lying BBC Sky News filth. The next one on the stage, the next man is Mr. Mayor Susi. Come on!
Apparently this flag is a taboo. It's a sin to hold it here.
Bollocks, is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget, we're here for the kingdom. We're also joined by patriots from around the world. We got all the usual flags, the American flags, the Israelis, we also have the French flag. Even the bloody Welsh on here. The Iranian flags. But we're here not just the United Kingdom. We think about Peter Lynch, Rhiannon Sky White, a hotel worker who lost her life yesterday after an attack by illegal migrants to Sudan. We think of Tommy Robinson, in jail right now. We think about the 3 little innocent girls in Southport who lost their lives.
God rest their
Now,
souls.
the building right behind me, down the street, and the one over there, that was the parliament.
How's the treachery?
We're far-right anarchists. Just because we criticize the system. We criticize the system because we want it to be better. I am going to talk about the political side. But the fact that they are scared of you guys are far-right, unless they are scared and terrified of far-right grandmothers, and all their families and children, and again, people coming from France and Canada and Australia. My mother, apparently, is also far-right though. She was saved by the British Embassy from Iran. She was an actual political refugee. She came here to give me a fresh chance in life. To what end? I now have to have private security because I get death threats. For doing my job, for doing a job that the BBC should be doing, for simply reporting the news.
Here, here!
Now,
This gentleman here.
this wasn't what my mom actually wanted.
Hey,
Always safer
Subscribe to
in
your-
Gaza than in London at this point.
Your YouTube.
Now,
Take a photo.
I have a message to the political establishment, the mainstream political parties.
You're welcome.
Keep doing it.
Reform UK.
You too.
Our friends at Reform, this crowd is not what you think it is. You misunderstood them. Look around, bring your representatives, talk to the crowd here. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
These people, a lot of
The
them.
Jackson Hope Foundation.
My message to the Tories.
Yeah.
If you follow us on Facebook and invite
You
all
are
your
here
friends, say
protesting
for us.
against.
I don't really use Facebook. Do you have a YouTube channel or
I
something?
don't. We've got it's on Facebook. We've got his own web page as well.
Okay, I can have a look at that.
Yeah. If you just mention us, mate, if you would do.
Yeah, I will do.
Okay.
It should be in the live stream, and I'll mention it at some other point as well. Thank you.
Nothing positive. The only message is actually to you guys when it comes to Labour government. Get ready. Campaign. Fight. Don't give up. Unite the right. Unite the kingdom. Stop the division. Fight, fight, fight.
Fight! Yes!
Final message to all the other patriots who are coming here to support the British public, the Americans, the Israelis, the French. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. We will support you in your fight in your countries. Nationalists and patriots, it's time to unite. We've been too isolated. We've been left each other alone. It's time to support each other. Thank you very much. I'm Ryan TC and we are the media.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, the next man, I'm going to refer to him as a man, despite the fact he's 13 years of age. He's just about to get up on stage and speak in front of you lovely people.
Hundreds of thousands of us.
You can see what I'm seeing, the crowds go back and back and back, and we have a young up-and-coming politician that gets stick, the school, label, stigma, far right, the usual tripe.
By the NPCs.
You can see that there's nothing far right about this crowd. The only thing that's it's just right.
Yeah!
So please, give this young man a massive, massive cheer, a round of applause. Because I don't know anybody his age that will come and do this. What's a man? Let's go! Tommy Dixon!
United as one.
Can we not spam, please?
Because we love our country. And every one of you are not far right, you're concerned citizens. Because down at Downing Street, Keir Starmer protects his own, not you. Yes. Keir Starmer has blood on his hands.
Yes!
We stand here united.
Kill the
Kill
traitor!
Peter Lynch. This government is. Now, I ask you all as a
I should have pissed the road. I should have pissed the road. That's just been long.
Great Britain, make it truly great. Now, I can see a UKIP flag. UKIP and the real party. The party for the people, not Reform UK. Fake party. Fake, fake, fake. They kicked it out because that's what was coming. Because that's what was coming. Are you all hearing this? The party for the patriots. Tommy's the biggest patriot we've ever got. So, I ask you all, at the next election, you vote for UKIP, you join UKIP!
Yes!
Right, I'm going to start finishing off now. Thank you. And remember, keep doing your country proud.
You are a living legend. Oh man, Johnny Simpson, come on! Give it some! Unbelievable! Now, respect to you, brother. Get a picture. Get a picture.
They do seem to be speaking about various things.
You know, credit where credit's due. Credit where credit is due. Oh, they lift up the song. Oh,
Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! Oh, Tommy, Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! One more! Oh, Tommy, Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! They are here, don't worry, I did see them.
Swell this is going. Just to compound on Charlie Simpson, what he said and what he just done there. And giving people credit where it's due. This is what we need more of. Giving people credit when they're due, building each other up, being each other's brother and sister and friend, and encouraging each other to do the right thing all the time.
I don't think David Icke is alive, the last time I checked.
And Vicky,
Could be wrong.
forgive me, I'm contributing to do this. And then, from Lutz and Vicky, we are going to get Richard Inman on straight after, and then he's going to show you Tommy's documentary. So I'll be back in a little while. Until then, have a glorious time!
Oh, he is? Oh, that's my mistake. My apologies.
All the way from Germany, what I am.
Hello, UK. I'm living now in the US because I'm not allowed to be in Germany anymore because I'm fighting for freedom of speech. I oppose the Democrats in Germany in politics, and today they are all here for Tommy because he's a political prisoner for showing the world what's really going on in all over Europe because this is not only happening in the UK, it's everywhere. It's in Brazil. I'm doing a documentary for Purpose 2 about what's going on in Brazil, and we have to stand together. Today is a very important day for the whole world. You make a sign, you stand up, and the world has to watch you, has to follow you in the fight for freedom of speech for our children. Because our children have a right to live in freedom and have a right to grow up in a country to be proud of. You have to be proud to be British. I have the right to be proud to be
Yes!
And we don't care anymore. We are the people. We are fighting for our rights. Thank you.
My name is Lutz. I'm the founder of the Pegida movement in Germany. I met Tommy 10 years ago, and since then we became friends. And we're actually going the same way. I'm facing the same challenges.
Okay.
I'm still free. I'm the lucky one.
Out you go.
The next 1 month, so I'm not sure that I'm going to join you that soon again. But we have to stand together everywhere. All the patriots all over the world.
You're more than welcome.
We have to go our way. We have to fight for the freedom of speech. Tommy's been charged for it. I'm charged with it. So that's why. Support Tommy and support every people's movement in this world which is going to fight for the freedom of speech, which is a people's right. This is the most important thing. If they take away that from us, we are at the end. That's it from me. And free Tommy. Let's call it again as we did before. Oh, Tommy, Tommy!
Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! Oh, Tommy, Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson!
Thank you, London. Thank you, Great Britain.
One more thing that we're all going to have to buy on the party. Charlie Healy for X Factor is due to be seen on stage and he's in the crowd and he's struggling to get through. It's a great thing because it shows how many people have turned up, but we need to figure out a way of getting through you lot. So, Charlie, you can hear me? Just tap whoever's in front of you on the shoulder and say, I'm Charlie Healy.
Launch him up in a cannon!
And now on to Mr. Richard Inman, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, what Liam just said there reminded me of an old film called Spartacus. So we don't want everyone coming to the platform saying I'm Charlie Healy. We only want the real Charlie Healy. If you remember that film Spartacus, what was the catchphrase from Spartacus? I am Spartacus. Every single one of you in this crowd today, I want to hear your voices saying, I am Tommy Robinson.
I am Tommy Robertson.
I am Tommy Robinson.
I am Tommy Robertson.
He's another hero, and he's not here today. And he won't be at any more demonstrations, and we've seen the videos of him. One of us, just an ordinary man, a grandfather just like I am, a father just like I am, and a patriot just like I am. Peter Lynch should be here today, and he's not. Let a massive cheer for Peter Lynch. What we're going to do when the film's on, we're going to pass buckets around the audience, and we're going to do a collection for Peter Lynch's family, and we're going to do a collection for Tommy Robinson's children, who would say now, I would have forgotten. But we're here because we're at a very pivotal moment in our country, and I believe every single one of us is not just Peter Lynch and Tommy Robinson. Every single person in this crowd is a British hero. You are all British heroes.
Yes!
And you know, many times we come here and we talk about the problems, and we talk about what's wrong, and you're going to see a film in a minute that goes into great detail about that. But I'm going to say something. Every single person in this crowd is not a problem. You are the solution, and you're the people that are going to take our country back. And my message to Keir Starmer, the person who hates grandfathers. What do we think of Keir Starmer?
Hear the traitor Starmer!
I agree. I'm not going to say what I think of Keir Starmer because I've been told to keep it clean. Keir Starmer has to go. Keir Starmer will go. And in 5 years' time, we're going to send him packing, and hopefully we'll send him to prison as well.
Yes! Prison!
This is our film, and this film talks about Peter Lynch. This film talks about the heroes, the political prisoners that have been locked up for nothing. Our judicial system has been weaponized by evil people in that house behind you. It's got to change. It's got to change. This film is going to tell the story of Peter Lynch. It's going to tell the story of Tommy Robinson. And it's going to tell the story of hundreds of other people whose lives and families have been destroyed by those corrupt people in that house behind you. And before we start the film, I want everyone in this crowd, I want us to observe a 1 minute silence. So I'm going to ask you, when I stop talking, when I shut my big mouth in about 30 seconds, I want a hush to go over this. Liam, if you could time me to make sure we get 1 minute. When I stop talking, to go silent for the hero of our age, Peter Lynch.
We love you, police!
Yes! There was no sound because we were doing a 1 minute silence.
We love you, Tommy Robinson! Press play!
Oh, that's a little bit quiet though.
Peter Lynch, 61, proud grandfather and father of four, was sentenced to 2 years, 8 months in prison. His so-called crime? Raising his voice and holding the banner in defence of what he believed. Branded a far-right thug by the media and Keir Starmer, Pete was thrown into a brutal prison system among violent criminals. But the real justice, he paid the ultimate price. Alone, isolated from family he cherished. Peter took his own life in a cold, unforgiving cell. His voice may have been silenced, but his sacrifice will echo through history. May he rest in peace. It's September 2024. There's been trouble on our streets. The government and legacy media tell us one thing, social media and citizen journalists tell us something else. What we do know is the British people are angry. What's ignited this anger? What is going on? And are we seeing lawfare waves on the British people with a whole new level of intensity?
Oh, for God's sake. Keir the traitor, Starmer! Oh my God, every time.
I would like to have been at Runnymede, England to make this film. Why Runnymede? Because it's where King John was made to sign the Magna Carta over 800 years ago. The Magna Carta is a document designed to shackle the power of tyrants. A document that makes it clear that everyone, including the King, who was the authority in the land at the time, is subject to the law. And the law is to be applied without fear or favour. A document that has inspired freedom-loving people around the world. A document to protect free-born English men and women from the abuse at the hands of tyrants. How fast and how far our nations fall. Now, we looked at the architecture of a totalitarian state in lawfare, the film we launched on the 1st of June this year. Two-tier policing, politicised judiciary, a controlled media, and dissenting voices being crushed. These are just some of the pieces that the Conservatives put in place, working hard to build their utopian totalitarian state. New legislation, arrests for hurtful words, full crime debanked, fired. This has all been the case for a few years now. And digital programmable money, mass surveillance, social credit scores, 15-minute cities, pay per mile to drive. Yes, the ULEZ infrastructure is already in place for that. Centrally controlled food supply. All these things will follow soon. More tax, less freedom, and prison for anyone who objects. But right now, we have a new Labour government, and we could not have imagined how quickly and vigorously
Keir the traitor, Starmer!
morally bankrupt, communist, bewildered, one-term Labour government would have set about implementing their evil plans. We We explained previously how totalitarians use all the institutions of the state to create the facade of fairness, due process, and a democracy is all a facade, when in fact they seek to destroy the very fabric of our society with their so-called progressive ideologies. Progressive ideologies that care not a bit for the oppressed. This quote. These totalitarians create division and chaos as the prison chaos. They budgetary foes. They turn the gullible against power if they are scrutinised and exposed for what they are. They have no power if the people unite against them. And they are driven by three emotions. Three emotions lie at the heart of every totalitarian regime. And Keir Starmer's regime is no different. They're driven by lust, fear, and loathing. For power, anything to keep a few allowance. We won't raise taxes about a year.
Wankers!
On some people who've worked hard all their lives, they're not wealthy, they don't have money to spare, and this year, if it's cold, they're going to be looking at the thermostat and wondering if they can pay their bills.
According to Labour's ministry account, they had to do this to stop the economy crash.
That is a barefaced lie. Just 1.5 billion was saved, while 21 billion pounds was voluntarily spent on public sector pay rises and foreign climate aid. When Ed Miliband excitedly promises to decarbonise the grid by 2030, again, he has been completely dishonest. And the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Darren Jones, innocently leaked some time ago, the true cost is going to be hundreds of billions of pounds with an almost impossible transformation of infrastructure.
There's a report, of course, commissioned by the Labour Party back in 2017, which forecast that thousands of pensioners could die, could literally freeze to death because of this change.
If we have the money, billions every year, to look after people who are given nothing to this country, why do we not have 1.2 billion to give money to people who have contributed to the system?
Yes!
They removed energy price cap and prices jump by 10% every month. And if you've worked hard all your life, look out, because they're coming for your savings and your pensions. And don't forget, while he's whipping you, Freddie Kia, he's had to declare more than £100,000 of freebies and gifts, more than any other MP in our country.
Keir the traitor
They say they've just found a £22 billion black hole in the nation's finances.
We have found a £22 billion
bullshit!
making
sure we lie to the British public.
That we can build a better future, that pensioners who so many people voted for in this
traitor!
They know how to stack finances long before the elections. They just forgot to mention their plans. And when asked to spell out the details of the claimed black hole, they refuse. They're not telling me. They won't. The dog ain't my homework. Ridiculous. They're not hiding the political choices they've made.
They're covering
it up. They're actually proud of them. They can't use your taxes. Remember, our taxes, that's whose tax it is yours. They can't use them to help freezing pensioners this winter. But they can choose to send $3 billion a year of your tax to Ukraine to drag us towards war with Russia, instead of pursuing peace. They choose to send $6.4 billion a year of your taxes to support asylum and illegal migration. That's according to the Institute for Fiscal Studies. That's up 50% from last year and 6 times higher than in 2018. What's it going to look like next year or the year after? That's right, $6.4 billion in support of unilateral cultural suicide.
Angela Rayner has announced that she's abandoning plans to give British people, in brackets, who have paid their stamp or taxes, close brackets, priority council housing. We're going to allow migrants to get that. If you thought that wasn't bad enough, I love your response to this, because this sent me today quite literally over the edge. If you're a terrorist and you wanted to get social housing, you were going to be banned under Labour's manifesto. That's been reversed as well today. So what we're saying then is we're going to allow millions of people to come into this country and take away homes or whatever from British people who need them. And that is not racist to make that comment. That is an absolute proven fact.
It is a proven fact, and that, amongst other reasons, is why people from all those deprived communities across the United Kingdom
hundreds of thousands
protesting against immigration for the last few weeks.
They choose to give away $8 billion of your taxes on climate aid. That's giving money to other countries to help them for their so-called climate challenges. 8 billion of your money can't keep pensioners warm. They choose to spend trillions, yes, trillions of your taxes to pursue their own net zero wet dream, exporting our carbon emissions to China and India as we commit unilateral industrial disarmament and drive millions and millions into fuel poverty. Don't take my word for it. This is the co-founder of Greenpeace on climate change.
I say not only is carbon dioxide good, it is essential, and it's a good thing that we are putting some more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because it was running low before we came along. If we had definitive proof that CO2 was causing serious problems and we could prove it, don't you think they would write that down on a piece of paper somewhere so people could read it? They don't have definitive proof, period. I am firmly of the belief that the future will show that this whole hysteria over climate change was a complete fabrication.
They'll smash those gangs that are transporting illegal migrants into the UK, costing us $6.4 billion a year.
Round up, detain and deport illegal immigrants. That's what new Home Secretary Rebecca Cooper has just promised to do.
I'm not on there yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know.
Saying refugees welcome, close the Bibby Stockholm and scrap Rwanda on day one.
You know, somebody's watching you and, on your side. You're making a journey.
Thanks so much, I appreciate it. You too. Thanks.
They're also driven by fear. They fear their loyalty to the World Economic Forum and its globalist and totalitarian agenda being exposed and revealed.
You have to choose now between Davos or Westminster.
Davos.
Why?
Because Westminster...
Traitor!
They fear their incompetence and failures being exposed. Immigration policy, energy policy, foreign policy, every policy is a failure. They fear losing power. And they fear Islam. They're big-willed. They cower and submit to the demands of Islam out of fear of what might happen if they don't.
Well, assalamu alaikum. My name is Gilbert Tristan and I am the Superintendent for
Salam alaikum. I'm speaking to you today because I want to reinforce my commitment to protect every member of our Merseyside community.
Traitors!
Of course, cowering in the face of Sharia-loving fanatics does not placate them. It emboldens and morons. Our government's appeal is like feeding the crocodile and hoping it will eat them last. I think Churchill said. And hiding things, covering things up, that doesn't solve our nation's problems. It's obvious to most of us by now, covering things up lets the problems grow and grow and grow. They've done that for the last 40 years with Pakistani rape gangs for the sake of community cohesion. And they're doing it now with mass migration and the Islamisation of the United Kingdom. But lying to cover things up doesn't create community cohesion. It does the absolute opposite.
It destroys it.
British people.
There was no growth in our economy in July, and yet we continually get pumped with mass migration. I'm just going to pose this question. If migration makes us richer, why aren't we getting poorer? Our politicians can't just lie to us and hope we don't kick off. If the truth is so bad that we might protest if we knew about it, then maybe they should do something about the problem, instead of covering it up.
And the population know they're being ignored. And worse than being ignored, they're being condemned. This time, by a Prime Minister.
Keir the traitor Starmer.
The end up of this job. And when he thinks mass immigration might not be such a great idea. And to take here, he's branded all of you as far-right thugs and Nazis. Prejudged you as criminals.
Take him to court!
Will come and arrest you shortly. The third emotion driving our so-called leaders is loathing. They don't believe in the nation state. They believe in open borders and cheap labour for global corporations. Their loyalties lie with the World Economic Forum. Tutik here has made that pretty clear already. They loathe our nation and its people. The obstacles to their globalist totalitarian utopia. They don't want to be challenged. They are terrified of scrutiny. They don't want their lives exposed, and they certainly don't want to listen to you, the British people.
Everybody's lives matter. Black lives matter. Trans lives matter. Refugees' lives matter. Except old people's lives don't seem to matter. Why on earth are we choosing this?
What about white people?
Will our so-called leaders ever recognise the legitimate concerns and grievances of the British people? Do our so-called leaders actually want to solve the problems, or do they want to use the problems? Problems they create, by the way. to take more power and take away more of your freedoms. You see, these Marxists weren't elected because British people wanted to be governed by Marxists. They were only elected because of the Tories spent 14 years failing their people. They failed the British people, failing to be remotely conservative, failing to lower taxes, failing to control our borders, failing to protect our freedoms. And now in power, these Marxists want a state of perpetual chaos and division that they create, divide and rule. There must be an enemy. There must be a reason to take action against these enemies of the state, and that action will always take away your freedom.
A knife attack on a property in Hart Street. There are reports of it involving children, and I can now confirm that some of the patients have been taken to older age children's hospital, so that would suggest that those reports have indeed been accurate.
Here in the UK, 2 children have been killed in what police call a ferocious stabbing at a dance class in Southport in the northwest of England.
Traitor! Coward!
So what actually happened in Southport? A man of Rwandan descent murdered 3 beautiful girls and stabbed 8 more children and 2 more adults. How did the government react? What did the machinery of the totalitarian state do? Well, you and I would hope something like this would get the government to stop and reflect. Why have these girls been murdered? Why is there so much knife crime? Why is there so much rape? Why are these so-called asylum seekers flocking to our shores? And what values and cultures are they bringing with them? Are their values compatible with ours? Are all cultures of equal merit? You and I would hope the government would ask why the peasants, as us, you and me, why are the peasants revolting? No, don't be ridiculous. Reflecting is not a popular pastime of communists and tyrants. Admitting they're wrong is not a key competence of these tyrants. Apologising for destroying our nation, it's not going to happen. What this government actually did, well, first, they did everything they possibly could to cover up the basic facts, what you and I would call the truth. They said immediately it wasn't terrorism. How can they possibly know immediately the motive, what it wasn't terrorism? How can they know that?
Exactly.
How can stabbing young girls at a Taylor Swift dance studio not be terrorism? They said he was from Cardiff. Axel Ruddock Yabana. Yes, he's as Welsh as the daffodils. They looked for evidence he was mentally ill. I can help with that one. Yeah, he was mentally ill. Anyone who commits a crime like that is mentally ill. But exactly what kind of mental illness? And they published a picture of him, looking like an innocent
12-year-old boy. Yeah, bullshit.
He was a choir boy. They made him the victim. They did all this because they don't want us knowing the truth. They manage the information.
Misinformation is dangerous. Social media is good, but it's also bad when people are using it in a way that cause a riot, threats, intimidation. I think we're going to really
keep projecting, wanker.
What they're going to do with social media. But what are they going to put through Parliament as a bill to act? Misinformation is dangerous. And no misinformation or threats or intimidation should be allowed to be carried out on social media platforms.
So the BBC and all that.
How absurd, how foolish, and how dangerous. And Kia, how is this working for you, managing the information? Do the government really believe their actions will help build a peaceful, prosperous and patriotic society? What about a cohesive society? Or are they so short-sighted, so hungry for power, and so disdainful of the British people that they will use anything, no matter how awful, how tragic, they will use anything as an opportunity to implement their totalitarian agenda and crush anyone who speaks out against them. As we've said, these Marxists want a state of perpetual chaos. There must be an enemy to mobilise the population against, an enemy to divert attention away from the government's agendas and their favours.
You said the word society black hole. What did you mean by that?
What I meant by that was that the riots, I think, were symbolically broken society and far right on the way.
But I think it's a societal black hole broken in our lives.
Yeah, black hole, you made traitor Starmer.
The answer to it is delivery and government. So the best argument against the far right, best argument against the easy answer, is to deliver, to bring about the change that we promised we'll bring about.
By doing fuck all.
Totalitarianism seems to acknowledge there are troubles. He says the solution is delivering in government, which suggests the cause of the problem is failure in government. I agree, Comrade here. And he says the far right, whoever they are, is the snake oil of easy answers.
Bullshit.
It would be more accurate to say the use of the term far right to label concerned British citizens is the snake oil of lazy government. And any anger which he labels far right is a consequence of failure in government. You can't blame the Tories forever, Comrade Keir. Listen to this.
It doesn't matter what apparent motivation there is. This is violence, it is not protest. It doesn't matter what the motivation is.
That's right. He doesn't care what happens. He doesn't care. That gives him the excuse to crush the dissent that terrifies him. The dissent of the average British man and woman. And by the way, we still haven't been told anything about the motivation of the Southport killer. What could it possibly have been?
Good honest men are going to jail for saying that integration failed. So do you think that we're really free if we're not allowed to say what we see? Starmer's a tyrant, but we won't be silent, cause he threatens his people. Starmer is evil, but we won't be silent, cause he threatens his people. Starmer is evil.
Now, once they tried very hard to manage the news about these murders in Southport, and they'd lied and patronised the entire British people in the process, what two-tier Keir and his cabal of apparatchiks did next is truly chilling.
Everyone was angry because of what had happened. So those three little girls, the whole world was angry. My husband was then saying, you know, the government keep letting them come in to our borders, you know, kids are getting raped, filmed, what followed, things like that, you know, they're taking all our NHS, they're getting rehomed, you know, everyone coming in is just being given everything, and then things like this are happening in our country.
So what is it exactly that your husband has been accused of?
On the Saturday after Southport, he just put the status up saying the Daresbury next, which is a hotel close to where we live, which have got immigrants and asylum seekers in there, who were getting rehomed. So he weren't inciting that he's going there to do anything. He was just saying, with all what's going on, that's the next place that will most probably happen. People will start rioting and stuff. But he didn't put that, he just put, it's going to be the Daresbury next. Then people commented underneath his post, and they just put, it's the government's fault if they stop letting them in the borders, or this won't be happening.
Okay, so he was being vocal on the immigration issue?
Yeah.
He went there for his daughter and for his little sister to stand up and say like enough's enough. With Jack being a father himself, he's a first time dad to a little girl. He felt it, like it touched him emotionally what was going on. When he was there, he was waving his flag. He didn't say anything racist. He wasn't shouting abuse, he wasn't swearing. There's actually numerous videos of the police telling Jack he has to put his flag down, he's not allowed to hold his country's flag. Jack saying to the police, listen, I'm not here for no violence, I haven't came for violence, I came for a peaceful protest. The reason why he was arrested was because the police blockade, or whatever they call it, where they all have the shields, they ran and pushed his mum over, Julie, his mum, she's 68 years old, they pushed her over, trampled over her, she was on the floor, they trampled over her. We seen this, and then obviously
tried to get through the police to get to his mum who were on the floor. They were whacking him with a shield, spraying him with CS gas, and they were saying, look, my mum's on the floor, I just need to get to my mum. When he was being, after he just got arrested, when he was being held around the back of the Bluebell, the police officers were saying, look, I don't even know why you've been arrested, because his mum were there as well, obviously, all the face were bruised. They could see that she'd been injured, badly injured. I don't know if he was a sergeant or just a normal police officer. They were saying, I'll ring the inspector and see if he can let you go, because I don't think it's serious enough to be arrested. It's like he said, if it were my mum, I would have done the exact same.
Obviously, we went home and we thought everything was fine, because obviously Jack didn't do nothing violent at all. And then that's when, exactly a week later, the police had knocked on the door, and then that's when he got arrested.
So they started beating me door frame.
That's disgusting.
Screaming in the guards. Screaming in the guards and screaming, and he took it away. So I asked them to stop beating me door down.
I feel for you, Julie.
And I asked them what they believe for, and they wouldn't tell me. And I said, have you got a warrant? And they said, we don't need to give you one.
What?
And they said that my back door was open and my back gates can go down there, stop booting me door through. So at that point when he stopped, Chris was coming out with the police. And then he went in and raided my whole house, looking for his phone and took the kids' iPads and stuff.
And were your little girl still there?
She'd been taken to my neighbours, but she was just crying her eyes out.
How long exactly did he get?
He got 5 years, a year taken off, and he took into consideration his health and his mental health, and then they gave him 32 months. He was sentenced to 3 years, 4 months, and also a 10-year criminal behaviour order.
You're not going to see your partner lay now for 3 years, 4 months. How do you think you're going to cope with that?
I'm not so good. So it's
It's broke a family up. Like it's his daughter, he's a first-time dad for a little girl. Like he's got Christmas coming up, so the first one where she understands things. He's going to miss out on our first Christmas. He's missing out on our second birthday. Like
she's just like a little child. She's usually a lovely little girl. She's just not herself. She's not the same little girl. She just she sits and just stares and just speaks.
So with the most recent atrocity in Southport, and regardless of the murderer's motivation in this particular case, it was the last straw. People were angry, not surprisingly, not just about the Southport murderers, but about years of having their legitimate concerns about mass immigration being completely ignored. They're angry about two-tier policing and politicised judiciaries. But Labour cannot afford to have pesky voters asking questions about the consequences of open borders, mass immigration, and the incompatibility of some ideologies with our culture. So they create a different story. They turn everyone's attention to their imaginary monster, the far right, the fictional dragon they pretend to slay.
There's a lot of people that have branded people like Lee as a far-right racist, so that's true?
No, definitely not. Well, never have been, Wiener's never been racist. It's horrible. They just put lies out there.
it's absolutely ridiculous. Just everything that they've written. It's like there's actually an article about Jack that calls him far right as well. And obviously, when I spoke to Jack, I made him aware of this. He's not happy. Like he's kicking off, saying on the phone, he's saying, "I'm not." They kind of just put me down as something that I haven't actually complied with. I haven't said that.
You should have loyalty to your country. And if there's something wrong with your country,
there was. It was on the other side of the.
They blamed the English defence.
Missiles were thrown at riot officers and the police van was set on fire by a large crowd of protesters believed to be supporters of the English Defence League.
We don't know where they streamed in from, but they're believed to be supporters of the English Defence League.
How many people working well? There's over 50,000 apparatchiks working in the Home Office alone. And no one told Tutti Kia that the EDL disbanded a decade ago. It hasn't been here for a decade. No one in MI5 reminded him that, 90% of the people that are watching on a terror watch list, well, they follow Islam.
I am worried about the rise of far rights. I mean, we can see what's happening in Germany with the recent elections. It's happening in
Kill the traitor, Starmer!
Because it's to snake a will of easy honesty.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this week. This is not a protest. It is organised, violent thuggery.
No, it isn't.
No place on our streets mindless minority of thugs who thought that they could get away with causing chaos.
But this deception is not without consequence, Keir.
The traitor style.
The following will not be televised.
Muslim community leaders have been speaking to the police as well because but I think, apologies for the language you're hearing, but
I assume the people in it, and they assume that they were EDL, apparently, I'm not sure. That's why they all...
Here, you brought violent Muslim militias out on the streets. You lied to them. You created this facade of this far-right English Defence League roaming the streets. But at least people can see that there's a militia there waiting.
He has caused this divide between everyone. He has labelled us far-right racists. But I think people are angry, and it's all down to Keir Starmer. Because
Keir the traitor Starmer.
Why people are angry, why people are taking to the streets with such anger, and in this what I see, that someone's babies, and I think that's why people are hating, people are having anarchists.
And anyone who is even remotely concerned about mass migration and its impact on our way of life will channel in Naz Shah's retweet. We'd all better shut up for the sake of diversity. Of course, the media kept along with all this. They know there's no far right. They also know there's no EDL. Or maybe they're talking about those thugs who gathered in Trafalgar Square on July the 27th. Deflecting works, of course, before the population would blink and without them even realising. The headlines and the news all focused on the imaginary monster, the imaginary far right.
The boogeyman.
And everyone had stopped talking about the slaughter of innocent kids. It hasn't been mentioned again. It was totally forgotten. It was a successful government ploy. For me personally, they're working to blame me for the trouble.
What we've heard, Judy, from a lot of the far-right figures is that these protests that we've been seeing over the last week are not about extremists, they're about ordinary people just having their say. Here's an example, and it's not the only one, from the man known as Tommy Robinson.
And probably the most influential instigator of all is Tommy Robinson.
For this to be
That's slander.
By people lying on sunbeds in Cyprus.
It's been coordinated by a man who just fled England.
No, he didn't.
English Defence League, I mean, give me their phone number, give me their email. I mean, the fellow who's associated with most on some bed in Cyprus, among others. He hates Europe, but there he is enjoying the European sunshine and stirring up poison and hate in this country.
There's no truth in that. Bring the case against me. Bring the evidence. The evidence shows the total opposite. Not once did I call for violence, ever. I ask people not to be violent. Lads, you've got to remain calm. Look, our events in London, totally peaceful, totally calm, didn't matter. We were under attack by the media and politicians, by all of them. As far-right, racist, hooligans, all these things. I tell you what, people for calm. Try to remain calm. Just an appeal for calm, man. Bring the numbers, bring the noise, but don't bring any violence, man. Any movement coming, galvanise the country. That's what we need to do, unite people. Now, yeah, the level of violence, it won't work. Anyway, stay safe. Stop the violence, man.
Instead of men committing violence, lads, those individual police officers who are coming out doing a difficult enough job, they've got families at home, they're ordinary people, okay? Peaceful revolution is brewing in Great Britain. A peaceful revolution. Now, why are the British public angry? I want to pause and take a moment to answer that question. I want to take a moment to help Keir
the traitor star, man.
Evaporate chicks. Because he seems to know there are troubles, he admits it. There's troubles on our streets. I fear he may have misdiagnosed the cause.
Well, it was publicised as being a protest against the lack of government action to deal with the increasing amount of stabbings and knife crime across the country, but in particular against the awful, atrocious, horrific, brutal murder of the 3 primary school age girls in Southport in their playgroup, which, like I think so many other people, I was incredibly upset and distraught about that. And I went there in that spirit, and in that spirit, intending to attend, and did attend, a peaceful protest. 8:45 in the evening, the police, the riot police, decided to just charge on the crowd. There was absolutely no forewarning, there was no announcement by the police, like on megaphone or anything like that, to say, can you clear the area, can you move, because we're going to start arresting people. They didn't do that, they just started arresting people.
Completely without warning.
Suddenly, without any notice whatsoever.
Scum!
And I saw a police officer arresting someone, and then a police officer came towards me and arrested me, and I was handcuffed. I was handcuffed behind my back.
So you were arrested for standing in the street?
Basically, yeah. Well, absolutely, that was it. That was why I was arrested. And I did nothing. Didn't resist arrest.
Scum!
It's just arresting people for no reason.
I think this has been going on for a long time, with escalating concerns with rampant knife crime, stabbings, and violence by some of the migrants and asylum seekers that is not being covered by the press at all because it doesn't fit their narrative.
Hey, that's my line. It doesn't suit the narrative.
It's the same as any dictatorial regime in the world. If you look at Venezuela, what's been happening there, the way they control their population and send people to prison because of their political beliefs. This government isn't acting any differently from that. It may not be as extreme, as that, but they're certainly heading in that direction.
We already know people are angry about the authorities covering up years and years of child rape gangs, mainly Pakistani Muslims. They are angry about two-tier policing. They're angry about politicised judges. They are angry when they see the police cowering before Islam in the name of democracy. Let's have a look at what else is going on.
Some of them, they're not screaming. It's like they wanted to be the she also thinks she knows.
It's like she's enjoying it, you know, even though she isn't, but it's like she's enjoying it.
What about the consequences of what you're doing in terms of how that affects the person that's raped?
Yeah, the consequences, we look at that all the time, you know, because it happens, she might scream, you know, people might wake up. A lot of people.
Oh my God. I'm not just talking about, I'm talking about the emotional effect, the physical effect it has.
Yeah. We might rape her and wake up tomorrow with viruses ourselves, like HIV, you know.
What about regretting what you've done to the girl?
I wasn't regret about it because if she fell pregnant, what will be that baby's father? Who will be that baby's father?
What about her personal feeling?
Who? Oh my god.
That's right. All over the country, unchecked migrants are raping and killing, and more unchecked migrants arrive every single day. Maybe this is a reason to be great.
This is the United Kingdom.
Yeah, we're the rape capital of Europe. Might be a reason people are angry. Wasting money, killing pensioners.
Breaking news from our end, actually. Channel migrant arrivals surged by 43%. That's from our Home Security Editor, Mark White. That's after 442 small boats crossed the channel yesterday on Easter Sunday. That now brings the total for this year of 5,435 channel crossings since the beginning of the year. That's well in excess of the 3,790 odd who crossed the channel by small boat at this point in 2023.
We're getting daily updates of the numbers during the COVID pandemic. And actually, that's an astonishing amount. Over 440 boats yesterday. The weather's calmer and a little bit calmer. This is only going to increase over the summer.
We're 1.7 million. That's the combined population of Glasgow, Cardiff, and Nottingham. There are 1.7 million who are unemployed. They're not even looking for work. They're costing you and I, the taxpayer, £8.5 billion a year. That's the equivalent to a winter fuel allowance of £708 per year for every pension in this country. That might be a reason people are angry.
Yep.
P5 migrants. What about this?
You have been talking very graphically to some 13-year-old girls. How long have you been in the UK?
For 2 months.
You should say that, right? Just, do you want to see my dick? Yeah, do you want to taste it? You're asking other people's children to send them pictures of themselves.
You facilitated a meet with a child for sex interview, 13 years of age yours. You sent her pictures of your penis. Yes? No me. Not you. Who? I don't know. Of your friend. Do you not speak English? That one was doing good, sir? Next up, the guys. I think we didn't go to Freeman. Freeman? Do you think it's okay to say that you want to eat and kiss a child's bullshit? Do you? You want to get a child to your house, a 14-year-old girl you want to rape and abuse.
You think they'd be on their best behaviour, but they're busy online grooming young children to rape within weeks or days of being in our country.
Kids were getting filmed by them from the residents that live in the Daresbury. Family members had rang the police and stuff. The police had come, they'd move them on, wouldn't take the phones or anything off them. People were getting followed from the Aldi by the illegal immigrants that are supposedly living in the Daresbury Hotel. But they're saying that there's no men or anything in the hotel, it's just all women and children.
Okay. Have you ever seen any men?
Yeah, but the whole of our area know that there's men in there.
There's for many years been a lot of complaints about the hotel, about the immigrants that are staying there, the crime rate. Yep. There's also been reports that children as young as 12, 13 and 14 have been getting followed and harassed. What do you think to that?
I was talking to a couple of ladies there who were telling me that a daughter had been exposed, that one were having a pea bush round the lake and it was showing his bits to a 6-year-old daughter. She reported it, nothing got done about it. Another lady who was speaking to her daughter actually worked in the hotel and they used to follow her home every night.
That might be a reason people are angry. And you're getting locked up for tweets. If you object to any of this and speak out online in anger or with humour.
I was upstairs doing some work up in the attic loft space in the house. And I had a massive bang. This was about an hour later. A massive bang. And I was like, what's that? So I came down the staircase from the loft. And another big bang. That was in the door. Flew open. And all these police came up the stairs with the taser out. Yeah, they used one of the big battering ram things and absolutely destroyed the door. And they came running up the stairs, one with a taser out. Guns behind your back, blah, blah, blah. And so I went with them. As I walked outside, there was about 8 or 9 coppers. They were everywhere. The warrant was for inciting racial hate on social media.
Bullshit.
I actually thought I'd walk in the court, he would get laughed at, and I would come back, I'd be back out of court. I spoke to the duty solicitor, and then he told me, you are guilty though, Lee. You're guilty of sharing this pictures on your social media. So
what's wrong with that?
So I advise you to plead guilty to what they're saying to you in court today. I'm like, But I haven't done anything, there's no crime. He's like, you're guilty of sharing these pictures.
So get straight, you served 4 weeks in prison for sharing 3 memes.
Yeah, that weren't even illegal. I hadn't even broke the law. It turns out now that I haven't even broke the law. I had a good job, good woman.
Do you think you'll ever get a good job like that back?
No, definitely not. No, I've got this on the record now, haven't I? I'll be lucky if I even get clearance and get my vetting back for the job that I didn't do.
The government is imprisoning people for their tweets. That might be another reason people are angry.
Our prisons are on the point of collapse.
So today, a new announcement that come September, thousands of prisoners can leave jail earlier than they would have otherwise.
Well, they can't lock up these angry tweeters because the prisons are full, so they have to release thousands of prisoners early. That might be a reason people are angry.
Thousands of violent killers and rapists.
Not enough space for the BBC's latest paedophile superstar, Hugh Edwards, busy buying photos of children as young as 7 being raped. Rather than spend a minute in jail, the judge was concerned about what might happen to him on the inside.
Oh, boo-hoo.
But no such concern shown for the right-thinking people of Britain tweeting their disgust at successive governments' failures. Every time, those, once you've created your imaginary enemy, you need to instill fear in those in the population who are gullible enough to trust you. The number of people who still trust you and your government, Keir, is falling very fast.
Sir Keir Starmer's approval ratings plummeted to its lowest level on record amid a growing cronyism scandal. The new poll shows almost 2/3 of voters think the government is more interested in serving its own interests than those of ordinary people.
All people trust us, mate. I know he's watching it, which is great. And so, in collusion with far-left activists like Nick Lowell's of Hope Not Hate and his
Wanker!
Hope Not Hate. It's a good name, Hope Not Hate. But they appear to me to be driven by hate, not hope. When in collusion with them and the legacy media, the story is pushed that 100 riots are planned across the country. It's all a lie.
And this was one of the potential protest sites for the far right on that list that was circulated on Telegram.
Of course.
It was a lie.
There was no riots planned. 100 demonstrations weren't even planned. Nick Lowell thought it was clever and the lie was funny. The government knew it was a lie. Hope Not Hate knew it was a lie.
So why was...
knew it was a lie.
Why wasn't he locked up?
Stop to consider whether it might be. But the lie was not without consequence. I'm sure the police will be all over those machete-wielding thugs.
I mean, they didn't put the others that came out with machetes, knives, masked up. What happened to them? There's no, they're not in the paper.
There's no justice.
Racist thugs. It's just they portray us to be bad people.
And Lowell's tweeted about this. See, that wasn't true either. That stirred up racial hatred.
You're born here, you're Muslim, you will stand here, you will fight against India, you will fight our ground. I want every Muslim sister against acid attack, must against Britain, but everyone should be here, fuck the Indian.
The top tier of Labour MPs and supporters.
That MPC on the left, though.
I hope hate is still a Labour-controlled disinformation. By the way, Mark Rowley, if you're still in the police when this film goes out,
when are you going to arrest Conrad Lowles for spreading false rumours and inciting racial hatred? So Lowles doesn't get arrested for his lies. But Bernadette Spodroff, a Cheshire businesswoman who sent an erroneous tweet about the Southport murder, she was arrested. She was held overnight. Then not released, but she was bailed pending further inquiries, which have since been cleared.
I had expressed my views on the state of the country and its failure to protect innocent citizens, and that is still legal. But it's very clear that a vocal part of our society wants the opinions of ordinary people like you and like me suppressed. They say they support free speech, but they mean only the speech they agree with. They say they support dialogue, but only the dialogue that agrees with them or with you. And they say they want equality, but they don't mean for people who think differently to them.
Now, we've had nearly a year of violent anti-Semitic hate marches on the streets of Britain. The legacy media describes them as largely peaceful.
Yeah, my
Some
arse.
journalist footage suggests that's a lie.
The only solution is jihad by the armies of the Muslims.
Listen carefully to what this guy here in the review says in a moment. Did you hear that? We are ready to kill you all, is what the man said. Let's have a listen to the rest of it. Take a look at how the police respond.
They just sit there, do nothing.
The police stand there and do absolutely nothing.
Take your hand! Don't do that, don't do that, come near.
Look at these ponces. Unfortunately, I wish the quality was better.
Hamas marches were largely peaceful. Just like this was a largely peaceful social services calling in Leeds. Jesus. That's the police running away from Romani gypsies and Pakistani rioters in Hare Hills, Leeds, after a social services call turned violent. The Hamas marches were largely peaceful, just like this was a largely peaceful chat between armed police at Manchester Airport and a largely peaceful Muslim family. By the way, these men, they were released without charge when a baying mob of Muslims turned up at Rochdale police station demanding their release.
Immediately, every one of them officers needs to be arrested. Immediately. If not, then we will go to primary and you will see big protests on this year. Protests like you've never seen before.
The Muslims demanded the police are suspended. Guess what? They were. The police suspended. And the cowering police are now focused on finding the person who leaked the CCTV footage.
Yeah, I bet.
Insanity.
Traitors.
Have the Islamic thugs who battered the police on camera, have they been charged yet?
No, of course they haven't.
And yet, the Hamas marches were largely peaceful, just like the Notting Hill Carnival was largely peaceful. Here's the legacy media's headline on that.
Last hour, they've given us an update that they've made 38 arrests and recovered 4 knives. And they said a man believed to be in his 20s has been stabbed. His injuries are not life-threatening. But overall, it's been a really peaceful and enjoyable day.
Silly cow!
For the Leeds riots, Manchester Airport thugs, or Nick Knowles. I wonder why. And no swift justice for the killers of Notting Hill Carnival. That was just a cultural celebration, of course. So we know the police treat different groups differently. No credible commentator would dispute it.
in 2020.
He's on bail right now.
During COVID. During COVID lockdowns. Sir Keir Starmer, now our Prime Minister, rushed to take the knee to express his solidarity with Black Lives Matter after they'd already injured 30 police officers during their protests, after they'd broken the law with the COVID lockdowns. And Keir Starmer rushed to take the knee and he said, there are legitimate grievances here. This is about racial injustice. Because rioting, on the left, remember, is the voice of the unheard. This time around, the same Keir Starmer, despite us seeing videos on social media of Muslim gangs beating up white British kids on the street, walking around with knives and machetes, this time around Keir Starmer said, this is all far right, this is not legitimate, it's criminality, get these people into prison as quickly as possible. There was no discussion of legitimate grievances, there was no discussion of legitimate protests.
Now Totalitarianism here appears to have ordered the stormtroopers to grab and arrest anyone, literally anyone, who protests or tweets against the government and what it's doing. Obviously except for Hamas-loving protesters, anti-Semites, members of the Muslim militia. None of them.
This is the moment police raid the home of a mother and a son suspected of violent disorder in Middlesbrough.
If you're involved in disorder on that day, we will identify you, we will arrest you, and we will put you before the court.
National figures show 1,165 people arrested, 703 charged. Those figures, again, will increase.
Have the police made any high-quality videos of them arresting Muslims carrying machetes in the streets? Or men fighting with knives and machetes in our parks? Or a single grooming gang that raped children?
No.
No, they haven't. They save their high-quality videos for people saying mean words on Twitter.
We do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification of this.
That the UK actually has a massive force of police officers scouring the internet for any...
My battery's running low, guys, so I won't be able to stream much longer.
Theoretically incite whatever the government deems to be racial hatred. And if you engage with or repost that content, you are deemed so dangerous for society that they will arrest and prosecute you.
So this is it's sentenced to prison for a Facebook post that he made. And in this video, the judge tells you what he posted and how long he's getting in prison. And I'll let you make your own mind up. Have a look at this.
You went on to say that you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, rape our kids and get priority. Given the life of Riley, off the tax us hard-working people earn, when it could be put to better use. Come over here, with no work visa, no trade to their name, and sit down and DOS. And then there's more people being put out homeless each year. They get top band priority on housing and many more reasons. This offence is so serious that an immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable. The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment.
Every tyrant knows you can't run a totalitarian state unless the judges do what you tell them to. In Russia, North Korea, they're awarded DACAs, second homes in the countryside. In England, you get honours for doing what you're told. Honours.
Let's be very clear. This has not been about protests. This has been about violence and thuggery.
No, it isn't.
The wielded event, tough on crime, tough on imaginary crime. Her message to the judges was clear. People who tweet dissent, they're criminals. That's what she said, judge before any trial. And those judges are in prison.
You have brought shame on yourself and the town of which you are a resident. You must be punished for what you did. The only mitigation, as I have indicated, is your guilty plea. Accordingly, the sentence is reduced to one of 2 years and 8 months imprisonment. I appreciate that will fall hard upon you as a senior citizen.
Most of these cases that I've been reading about, for example, the case of this poor man, David Springer, a 61-year-old who's been working as a train driver for 42 years, who's now taking care of his sick wife, who has been sentenced to jail because they wanted to make a sacrificial lamb out of him. They wanted to set an example to the rest of the UK. And that message was very clear. That message was, you don't get to disagree with us. You don't get to be present at this protest, because David Springer did absolutely nothing. And we have video footage of that. He was there. He, according to the reports, maybe shouted something at the police, well, boo-hoo. Is that worth 18 months in jail? A mother of 5